This is Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
It is Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Matt Brown and Mike Somich coming to you live here on a Saturday. Thank you for spending some time with us, be it on Sirius Channel 158, our very own VSiN Watch app, YouTube TVs, terrestrial stations across this great country of ours. Mike, we had a little bit of breaking news this morning. We'll talk a little bit later how this will actually affect betting markets, if at all, if we care. But Derek Carr is going to retire with that shoulder injury. Writing on the wall, it seems like, was out there, a couple of weeks ago, as it was anyway, but officially official now with Derek Carr going to hang it up.
Yeah, not overly shocked about this. We've talked about Derek Carr and the injuries issues that he's had all offseason. So not a shocker here, but, kind of a bummer. I mean, Derek Carr went to the Saints. We expected that he was going to be at least decent inside that offense. It looked like he was going to fit well in the first two games of last year. And then the injuries started taking over. That Saints offense fell off a cliff. And here we are with a complete rebuild in New Orleans.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that just a little bit more as odds are on the move. Of course, Rookie of the Year. Does that even matter when it comes to the division? We'll talk about all of that. But, of course, we are in the heat of the playoffs here, Mike. And, I don't know what you think of everything that went on. I can't wait to hear your opinion here as we are looking at the Cavs just absolutely going in and thumping the Pacers, 126-104, as you can imagine. Yes, they covered any and all numbers that were out there with all of that. Of the shocking beginnings of all of the series, this is the one, this result is the least shocking to me because I think the Cavs are the far superior team, dealing with injuries, get back healthy, come out and just blast the Pacers. And this is not a knock on the Pacers at all. It's just where I think that the Cavs are. And so the 126-104 victory, I was kind of like, I that's about right to me.
Yeah, this is one of those spots where as soon as you saw the injuries not be a concern for this game three, you knew it was kind of a Cavs bet. They were -2.5 in the market. We saw that float all the way out to -5.5. Once those injury concerns were alleviated, look, this is one of those series where I think the Pacers have a punching chance. I took over 5.5 games in the series. It was hard to back the Pacers, though. And now we're sitting here with a healthy Cavs team. They looked very good last night. You can clearly see they can get it done in Indianapolis, which is obviously a concern when you're heading there down 0-2. I kind of agree with you, though. Honestly, I look at all three of the favorites that are really struggling right now in this round in Boston and Cleveland and Oklahoma City. Feels like all three are still going to get through. Obviously, a big game today for Boston if they want to do so, but I still have confidence in all of these teams that we have considered the best teams in the NBA throughout the entire breadth of the season.
-150 Cavs on the series now. Pacers +125 on the series market. Mike, I don't know if that is of any interest to you at all, but -150 on this Cavs team, like I said, I think is just far superior when they come out there with a healthy squad. So I don't know. It's at least mildly tempting to me. I had no skin in the game heading in,
Yeah, I don't mind the -150. I also don't mind looking at this series to last exactly 6 games at +115 because you've got a Pacers team that's up 2-1. They most likely win the series in 6 at home if they are able to win it. And I think that the Cavs sweeping after the being down 0-2 is quite possible as well. In that case, we'd end in 6 games too. So I don't mind the 6 games at +115. If I was going to bet a side, it'd be the Cavs -150, man.
Yeah. So you get, just this incredible effort from this Cavs team as a whole, right? So you get 43 from Donovan Mitchell. You get 18 from Mobley. Strus pitches in with 20. Garland has 10. You get 19 from Allen. So all 5 starters in double digits there with that one. Of course, Donovan Mitchell just continues with this incredible scoring bonanza that he's got going on, Mike. And that is with missing 4 free throws, I might add. 10 of 14 from the line for Donovan Mitchell. Still gets 43, 9 boards, 5 assists, a steal, and only had 2 turnovers with incredible usage in this game. And so you kind of look at this, and I understand what the strategy, we say this all the time, right? Like the assumption of rational coaching. And it's like, okay, if you're the Pacers, you go, all right, this guy's gone for massive games here. We just got to figure out how to shut him down. Easier said than done, especially when you do have this team at full strength. And I'm not saying that they could win this a game at margin like they did here if you don't get the Herculean effort from Donovan Mitchell. But I will say that a 28-point game, 29-point game from Donovan Mitchell, which is a pretty big fall off from the 40 pluses that we've seen so far, can still equal a pretty comfortable win for this Cavs team, given the other options that are still there.
Yeah, the other options being healthy really were the key last night. And you mentioned Donovan Mitchell and him being able to go off for these 40-point games in this series. It kind of makes sense. If you look at this Pacers team, they want to play with pace. They want to play up and down. Who does that favor on the Cavs? Donovan Mitchell. He's the one who ends up being able to play with that same pace, gets more open looks from downtown, able to get in transition and score. So it kind of, the series plays into Donovan Mitchell's hands from a scoring perspective in a lot of ways as well. It's, do you get the other pieces of the Cavs being able to contribute on the offensive end in that style of game? And when everyone's healthy, I think you do. Again, this series just comes down to health, and the fact that we got all three of the injured Cavs back in this game 3, and they were all able to play minutes, didn't look at all hampered from those injuries. You'd expect they're just going to get better as this series goes along and those players are reinserted into the lineup.
4.5 to 5.5 for the game tomorrow out there in the market. 4.5 at DraftKings, 5 at FanDuel, 4.5 at MGM, 5 behind us at Circa out here, 5 at Caesars, but up to 5.5 over at ESPN Bet. So you can see that it seems like we are starting to get a clear side, a clear favorite in this one amongst the people that are already putting money into this market.
Yeah, if I want the Cavs, I'm betting them now.
Yeah.
I think this closes closer to 6. You're going to see Cavs money come in consistently once we get to the day of the game tomorrow. So if I'm a Cavs bettor, I'm going out, I'm finding that 4.5, and I'm getting that in the account immediately.
The Nuggets win in overtime last night, Mike, despite the fact that the Joker had one of the worst games I've maybe ever seen him play when he wasn't like visibly sick or hurt or something like that. I mean, I've seen some games where he looked really awful, but you find out later he had the flu, or you find out later that he was dealing with some sort of injury. As far as we know, that's not the case. And man, oh man, that was absolutely atrocious from him last night, but it did not matter. They get it done here against this Thunder team. And you and I were sitting in this studio, and I just turned to you and I go, obviously the better team. But man, we are getting 7-1 on this Nuggets team that has perhaps the best player on the planet. Is that not a bet we should be making? Guess what I didn't do? Go in and make that bet. And so that is not in the account. But boy, that is an impressive win last night, considering when you looked at, you did not get that type of game from Jokic. You see a win like that, you just assume you're going to see the stat just all across the board.
Well, it's just funny what we've become used to with Jokic.
Yeah.
He went for 20, 16, and 6. It's not a bad game for 99% of the NBA, but because it's Jokic, because he went 0 for 10 from 3, the narrative after this is it was an awful game, and it was
8 turnovers as well.
It was a bad Jokic game, right? That's not what we expect from him. I think the Nuggets were fortunate that Shea also had a pretty rough game. At the same time with Jokic here, Shea ends up going for sub 20. He doesn't shoot the ball very well. To me, I'm still not worried about this Thunder team, although I will say I'm getting a little bit concerned now. I do think that the Thunder are still the better basketball team. They were, again, felt like they were in control of this game, even though it was close down the third and fourth quarter. You felt like they were going to be able to pull this out. You have the huge Aaron Gordon 3 and then the awful possession from Shea to end the game. That's what sends us to overtime. The one thing I'll say about this Nuggets team, they've been here before. They can close games. We saw that in the first round against the Clippers. We saw that again last night against this Thunder team. They might be one of the best closing teams right now in the league. And you expect, even with Jokic not playing very well, they still able to get good shots in crunch time. And so the last 5 minutes of the game in overtime, you consistently see good shots going up from this Nuggets team.
Yeah, Thunder still minus 210 in that series, plus 175 on the Nuggets if you like them. And Mike, you and I look into these all the time. We look at the stat sheet, we look into the advanced stuff, and you basically got a 90th percentile, 95th percentile game from both Gordon and Porter in the same game to make up for what you didn't get from Jokic. And so, What are the odds of that happening again, right? And now, what are the odds of Jokic having a game like he had this? I get it. I understand it could all balance out, but you had to have basically like this 95th, 98th percentile, almost, 7 of 11 and 7 of 10, Porter 5 of 6. You might have got a 99th percentile game out of Porter and all of this to make up for all of that. And it's just not likely to happen again.
Yeah, it's not sustainable. And that to me is the biggest issue with this Nuggets team, is that they're going to have to win games like this where you get unsustainable results from outlying players. In the first round, we saw Russell Westbrook go off in a couple games. Like, we don't expect that to happen. Porter Jr. last night, I don't expect that to happen very often. And so that's why I understand the series price at minus 210 for OKC. I don't think it's a terrible series price. I was actually hoping we'd get better championship prices on OKC, Cleveland, and Boston because of the situations they're in. And there's still not that much value right now. I mean, OKC is still the favorite. Boston just plus 310, down 0-2 in the second round. I was hoping we'd get some benefit there. You see the markets move in the NHL so drastically off one of these games. The NBA market, championship market, much slower to move because of the longevity of success we've seen from these three teams.
Of course, we will talk hockey. We will talk horses. We have a UFC card tonight as well coming from Montreal. Colby Marchio going to join us. We got Jonathan Davis joining us. We got Britton Hess joining us. We got everybody coming in here to give us their opinions on what is going to be going down today across this great sporting landscape. I mean, listen, in baseball games, which kind of a bummer we don't get any like instant gratification baseball games with us here, Mike. Like, that's the thing that we've kind of grown to love about this time slot is we come in and like, we know whether we've won some bets maybe by the time the show's over.
This is the first time we don't have any of these 10 a.m. West Coast pitches that we've been on, Matt. Like, I was sitting here expecting to have a sweat, and now I've got an early pick 5 over at Aqueduct, Belmont at the Big A, so I can have something to watch here during the show. I need the sweat, man.
I know. Like, I'm sitting here going, I'm like, all right, let's do this. Certainly there's going to be something I like so that we can cash one or just bemoan losing one here before the end of the... No, not today. Not anything for us,
Nothing.
But that's okay. We still have some baseball bets we will talk later in the show as well. However, Colby Marchio has several different baseball bets, and he joins us next here on Ready, Set, Bet.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich, and the TVs, because we don't have any early baseball. I've got a UFL game going over here, Mike, on one of the TVs. I have the guys that were not necessarily in contention playing over at the Truist right now on another one of the TVs. So this is kind of how we're making do.
Have them get horse racing up there. Belmont, the Big A. The card just started. You can get a little horse racing action in your life, Matt. Come on.
A couple of withdrawals from the Truist as well. And shocker, it was two names that were at the very bottom in Justin Rose and Michael Kim, and came up with an illness and a back injury. Mike, it's funny how those pop up whenever you're at the very, very bottom of the leaderboard, and they never when you're in the middle or kind of rising up towards the top. You never get sick. You never get a back injury.
No, you don't. I actually considered withdrawing after 9 holes last Sunday when we played, because it wasn't pretty. I could have pulled off the withdrawal, and you've been like, yeah, I get it. You probably have a back injury. Something's going on.
I absolutely love that, too. All right, so joining us here via the Progressive guest line, Colby Marchio. You've seen him. You love him here on Ready, Set, Bet, betting analyst of our betting news at Colby M. Bets. They're on the Twitter machine. Colby, how you doing, buddy?
Fantastic. The Pope's from Chicago, so that's all I'm going to be talking about all weekend here in Chicago. I can't stop talking about it. As someone who's not really the most religious person, it's still the coolest thing that's happened this week.
And supposedly he was seen at some point in the past at a White Sox game, so everyone is assuming he is a White Sox fan.
Yes, I think that is what it is, and I'm sure the White Sox will milk this to death because they have nothing else to talk about.
I was about to say, like, this should be a full-on – this is how you pivot the season if you're the White Sox, right? Like, make people forget.
You got those new City Connect jerseys, and you have the Pope. So.
Yeah. This is what you do, man. It's like, pivot off of how bad the season is and just go with the whole Pope thing. I would definitely.
You gotta get the Pope City Connect jersey, right? Get the little Vatican thing up there, Chicago. Like, have some fun with this if you're the Sox.
Yes, I like. Honestly,
100%.
They need to go. I have not looked through their minor league farm system. Someone's got to have a last name of Pope in there somewhere. You got to promote him straight to the Bigs. Like, I mean, I don't care if the guy's in single A.
Do my research.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't care if he's in single A. He's he's hitting 184 in low A. Shoot him right up there, man. If his last name's Pope, we got to get this going. We got to play this up for sure.
Okay. Or anyone named Leo. That works.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Leo or the I love it.
Leo in the whole system.
We're giving them all this free information.
If they don't have either, we just get a guy with number 14.
Yeah,
wait, Paul Konerko's retired.
Oh man, so good. All right, Colby. So let's start off things here with a homer prop. One, how often do you play these? And two, what kind of, we'll talk about the guy that you did pick, but what type of player are you typically kind of playing into these markets?
I always tell people if I like somebody to go over their bases prop or their H to the double R prop, I'm most likely going to sprinkle on their home run prop just because of if I really like him to have some action today and go over his bases, I'm sure enough he's going to have maybe a double, maybe a home run. So I usually just dabble on the double or the home run, and I don't touch the double. I probably should more often than not, but I don't want to have all those units out on one guy every single time I like him. So the home run's fun. And then if you don't know, I do those videos that my girlfriend finds obnoxious, but I absolutely love streaming into my phone every time I hit a home run bet because that's my Super Bowl. So if it happens once a week or multiple times a week, it's the best. But I usually am on it because I like a guy's bases prop or him to just have any action, even if it's a hit. I'll be on his home run because I just like being on them.
So then let's get into it and talk Kyle Schwarber here. Obviously a very prolific home run hitter as it is, but you do have a couple of bets on him.
Yes, this is my third straight day betting on him, and it will be the last time for quite some time if he doesn't come through today. But I think of the three, today is the best matchup, I should say. I like his H to the double R prop. I like his home run prop at 340. On the road this season, it's pretty much why I've been on the last 3 days. He's on fire on the road, 382 batting average, 942 OPS, 46 elite ratings on the road according to batters-box.com. Records a hit 60% of the time, over his H to double R prop 52% of the time. Only homers 15% of the time, but I can live with being on that. It's Kyle Schwarber. He's either getting a hit, a home run, or he's striking out or walked. Going up against Tanner Bybee, who has a 4.26 ERA, a 1.32 WHIP, has a poor average hitter matchup ISO and ground ball rate, which is fantastic. We don't want him hitting ground balls. We want him hitting line shots over the wall, if you will. And his pitches are nothing special. And Schwarber matches up extremely well against his pitch mix. So I really like him today, especially at the minus 115 odds for over 1.5 H to double R.
I'm surprised you're taking a Cubs World Series hero. After all that Pope talk, you're still taking Schwarber to hit the home run. Maybe that's why he's been letting you down the last couple of days. One of the games that I think is just fascinating here. I've been all over this Sacramento thing. What is the ball going to be like up there? Is it going to fly out of that stadium? We're starting to get warmer weather here in California, and today it's going to be 90 degrees. You've got a breeze, we'll call it breeze, 5 miles per hour blowing out, but we could see gusts up to 15 or 20. This seems just like a hitter's dream, and so I'm like, hey, let's check out some home run props. Aaron Judge was plus 115 to hit a home run. I don't think I have ever seen plus 115 on any player to hit a home run. You do like him as a home run hitter, but you're looking for a little bit bigger of a number.
Yeah, to anyone listening or wanting to be on Judge today, I think your best option is his bases prop, even though I really don't. I'm not paying it. I'll get into what I did pay for. I don't think there's any value taking his props because who wants to get screwed on 2.5 bases when he hits a double and that's what he ends with? I don't want to be a part of that. I honestly do think he homers today. I don't want to be on the 1. I want to be on the 2 at 9-1. It's 90 degrees, like you said. The ball should be flying. I've been looking at Sacramento and Tampa Bay since the beginning of the season because the ball is going to just continue to fly because of the temperatures. And the weathers are always nice in Sacramento and Tampa. But he's the number 1 rated hitter on batters-box today. 30% home run rate out of 227 elite ratings. JP Sears, second worst pitcher on the day. Poor average hitter matchup ISO and ground ball percentage, which we want. We want Judge hitting line drives. And Sears' pitches are okay. I don't want to pay plus 125, plus 115. Basically even money for home run when it's a home run. Sure, it's Aaron Judge, but it's a home run. I want to be on the 2. I think he hits 2 today. So that's why I'm sprinkling a quarter unit on the 9-1, which I've never done, by the way.
Yes.
Never done 2. This is a first-time bet.
Hey, look at that. Bringing the heat here on Ready, Set, Bet here on a Saturday. I absolutely Love that, Colby Marchio. Find his work over Betting News at Colby M. Bets over on the Twitter machine. Okay, let's talk a little bit about this Milwaukee team. A little bit of a letdown so far. They're on the road at the Rays. Tobias Myers versus Taj Bradley. -125 Rays at home, +105 Brewers on the road. 9.5 is the total here, and you are looking at a total, but just with one of the teams.
Yeah, I really like the Brewers' first 5 team total over 2.5. The weather's going to be in the mid 80s. There's a 30% chance of rain, but it's Florida. There's a 30% chance of rain every single hour of the day there. They have 3 elite rated hitters according to batters-box.com. 2 great, 6 above the K rate, 6 above the league ground ball rate. Not the greatest, but it's Taj Bradley. Taj Bradley is pure hard contact. He gives up a ton of hard contact. 40% on the day. That's the second most among starters. Has a 4.43 ERA. Has only given up over this prop in one of his 4 starts at home, but he's giving up 6 hits per start at home. Runs are due, in my opinion. I think the Brewers get on top of them. They're averaging 2.85 runs on the road. I think this is a great bet at plus money as well.
Final game of the day on the board, the Toronto Blue Jays and Bowden Francois take on the Seattle Mariners, who are all of a sudden red hot and have a 3-game lead in the division, by the way. They have got Logan Evans, a younger pitcher, on the mound for them. Right now we're seeing the Mariners as short favorites, sitting -135, total at 8.5. What do you like in this spot?
Same prop, going back to the first 5 team total. I like the Mariners in this spot. They're going up against Bowden Francis, like you mentioned. I was trying to figure out what hitter I liked in this game. I was between Cal and Julio, so if one of those homer today, I called it, but I'm sticking with the team. I don't want to back either of those guys when I'm iffy, so I'm backing the team. They have 1 elite rated hitter, 2 great. They're a hair away from overall being an overall team grade of elite, so they have 0 poorly rated hitters, 0 above the league ground ball rate. Francis is the 4th worst rated pitcher on the day. Poor ISO, poor hard contact, poor ground ball rate. 5.66 ERA, 1.37 WHIP, is allowed over this in 3 of his 7 starts. He just saw Seattle a month ago. It gave up 5 hits and 1 run. I think this is a little bit of a revenge game back in Seattle. I think Seattle gets it done, even though they're not even a great first 5 scoring team. They're barely over 2 runs a game.
He is Colby Marchio. Find him at the Twitter machine at Colby M. Bets. Again, we're going Milwaukee over team total, Seattle over team total. We got the Schwarber stuff going on. Aaron Judge, for the first time ever, a 2-home run bet right here on Ready, Set, Bet. Thanks, Colby. Appreciate it, buddy.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
Bowden Francois, where did you go? Why'd you make him French all of a sudden? What happened
because
there?
we need to do something so he starts pitching well for my fantasy team. I got to change something up for him. He's not changing anything. By the way,
he's just
the video we
get
from Colby, if Judge hits 2, better be incredible.
Really? All right. Well, also, I actually think it's Bowden. Anyway, I think we all pronounce everything wrong here with everything. I think it's Bowden Francis. Who knows with all this, guys? $199 VSiN Pro subscription for 14 months. Yeah, we usually give you an annual subscription for $199, but no, we're running a special to give you 2 extra months on that. So 14 months for $199 at VSiN.com/subscribe. All those emails, all those picks, all those splits, right on over there at VSiN.com/subscribe.
Welcome back to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown, Mike Somich coming to you on a Saturday. Anyone wondering how fast you can eat a protein bar? The answer is 2 minutes and 24 seconds, because that's what I just did in that break. Mike was able to get it down, make sure that I didn't have stuff all in the teeth. Just that's what it is. 225. I need 224 to get the thing down.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Phenomenal effort there, Matt. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a, you know how it is sometimes when you're trying to figure out did I want to really carry it over to the next break? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna get this thing done. I want it to be done.
It's the tough decisions you have to make when you're doing a show.
We talked about the golf tournament that is going on right now, the Truist Championship. It is an elevated event. It is over at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. And as we sit right now, Keith Mitchell is your leader. Keith Mitchell has won exactly 1 time on tour, and that was back in 2019. So the thought is here that he's probably going to fall off. And it's a joke amongst us on Long Shots, golf betting podcast here on VSiN Podcast Network, by the way. Anywhere you get your podcast going, subscribe, rate, review. Mike, he's good for 1 round. You know, he has always got the 1 round in him. He is one of the better birdie makers for a round. that there is on tour, and then it typically it falls off. Humble brag, 55-1 cashes on Thursday for me and Kelly Bidlin, first round leader on Keith Mitchell. So yay for us, 55-1 home there on that one. I would say though, I would bet just about anybody else chasing him right now than him. He is always good. He is always good for one round in which he just can't find it. That might not be today, but it will be one of the next two rounds. I am pretty confident of it. We have a long track record of Kashmir Keith figuring out how to melt down after good rounds. And so Shane Lowry plus 330, Sepp Straka is 6-1, Rory is 6-1, Colin Morikawa is 12-1, Justin Thomas 14-1, Patrick Cantlay 16-1. All guys chasing right now, Mike. All guys that I think that are very live to go ahead and win this thing.
Well, that's the problem. On top of the fact that Keith Mitchell not been able to hold on since 2019, there's some pretty pedigreed guys running after him too. And it's not like he's got a 5-6 stroke lead, just one stroke up right now. You do have that second group, 5 back of him, but there are multiple guys that are within a couple strokes that can try and run him down here. Quick question for you.
Yeah.
You're 55-1. Great job. First round there. You had the first round leader last week as well. Do you bet the first round leader differently than the overall tournament leader? Are there guys that you'll consider saying, hey, they're going to be looser on Thursday than they would on a Sunday? Do I want to take a bigger shot on them at that number on the Thursday first round versus taking full tournament? Yeah.
So for me, last week was a cover my rear end one because I had in the clubhouse guy in the early wave at 70-1. And so I'm sitting there looking and I'm going, okay, who's the one dude that could run him down? And Scotty Scheffler was yet to tee off. And so that was just more of a cover myself bet, right? Like take Scotty at 12-1. I've already got the clubhouse leader at 70-1. Let's just make sure that I'm not kicking myself because Scotty Scheffler goes out and shoots 10 under. And then he did, and he did. So that would have been, a bummer. As far as Keith Mitchell, like I said, he's a dude that we regularly bet for first round leader, mainly because of the volatility that he brings. And that's a good thing. So yes, I will bet the high volatility guys in the first round leader market differently than I would bet other dudes that I like for a tournament, because a lot of dudes, we talk about this all the time. These are all amazing golf players. The thing that separates is not only the course, but also being able to do it for 4 straight rounds. Right. And so I kind of embrace the volatility in that first round leader market, whereas I don't really want to do that so much over the course of 4 rounds.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. And I think that's something that's important to think about. Do you also see Scheffler, he'll be 4-1 to win a tournament, but you can get 7 or 8-1 for first round leader as well. So even if you like some of the favorites, sometimes you can get a better price in that first round market. Oh no, absolutely. That's one of the cool things about it, right? Is, last week, Scotty Scheffler was 3-1 to win the tournament, 3.5-1 to win the tournament, 4-1 at the, biggest price out there to win the tournament. But he was 12-1 for first round leader, right? And so the shorter guys get longer guys do get shorter in the first round leader market, but still it's a good way to get an alternate piece of some of these dudes if you don't want to pay the super, super short price. Guys, as we do, at least I can't say every single, because we're going to run out of games here pretty shortly, but I will say at least 4 during the season we do every single Saturday and Sunday. We talk some hockey, we talk some horses. Let's head to the ice.
It's time to ask Mike Somich, what the
Did you ever touch my puck?
Mike, the NHL giving us some thrillers, also giving us a couple of, what's going on moments and stuff that we can talk about as well. But let's kick things off here with the first game, which is the Washington Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes. This is minus 250. Carolina at home. 205 on the Caps on the road. 5.5 is your total here. A puck line of minus a goal and a half on the Hurricanes at plus 110, plus a goal and a half at minus 130 there on the Capitals.
Yeah, this segment gets tougher when we only have 2 games and I'm trying to make 2 picks a day, Matt. So I got to get a little creative on how we're going to do this. First off, I do like the Hurricanes quite a bit. I laid the game and a half before the series started. I think that they're going to be able to really control this Washington offense when they're at home. They're one of the better home teams in the NHL. That building in Raleigh is going to be absolutely rocking. I think Carolina gets out to a very good start today. We consistently see these home teams have excellent first 10 minutes of the game. I think Carolina able to get one in that first 10 minutes. We'll see what happens after that. But if we look at this Carolina first period puck line, we can lay a half goal and get plus 114. Like that one quite a bit for a home team in game 3, again, where you're going to expect that push, especially after losing game 2 early. So I like the Hurricanes minus the half goal in the first period plus 114. I would also just say this, keep an eye out. If you can find under 2 goals in the second period, we've had it in both game 1 and game 2, where if you went in during the first period, late in the first period, during that first intermission, you were getting under 2 minus 135 for the second period. Mm-hmm. That's a phenomenal bet in this series, right? We have not seen a first or second period produce 3 goals yet in either of the first 2 games. You would need 3 goals in the period to lose, 2 pushes. Obviously 0-1 wins it for you. Keep an eye out for the under 2 second period bet once this game gets going as well.
Second game, I know no bet for you. Just a quick thought process here of the Knights on the road at the Oilers. This is minus 120 Oilers at home. Even money on the Knights. 6.5 is our total here in this one. Mike, I mean, I know it ended up not being the death knell for them. They did end up losing the game, but hockey players make some of the stupidest plays at the worst times ever in the history. And this is just not just in this one game sample size. It happens all the time. But you get to overtime in a playoff and you just decide to smack a dude across the face with your stick. You basically have surrendered 5 minutes in which you can't win the game because you're just playing defense the whole time, right? And whatever, I can't wrap my brain around what goes on sometimes in some of these guys' minds. But Knights head on the road here at even money. Oilers minus 120 at home. Any quick thoughts here?
It's priced properly. I was hoping I would get Knights plus 130, plus 135. That number doesn't exist in the market because it is a must-win game. I think the Oilers are a
little short, right?
I mean, I kind of feels that way. Yeah. I think the Knights win tonight, but I would almost bet the Oilers at this number. It's a little odd that we're seeing this price right now, Matt.
Yeah, I thought so for sure. And then you went ahead and put in a futures bet.
Yeah, give me the Stars to win the West, plus 205 right now. You're going back to Dallas now, a 1-1 game or 1-1 series with Winnipeg. We've seen Hellebuck struggles on the road. I think Dallas is able to take the next 2 in the series, and you're getting a plus 205 price because you see Edmonton up 2-0 in the other series. So Edmonton, your clear favorite. I like the Stars much more than the Oilers long term, so we'll take the Stars to win the West, plus 205.
After a good week at the track, let's go ahead and head back on over there. Let's see what's going on.
Saddle up, partner.
Want to bet the horses with Mike Somich?
When I bet on horses, I never lose. Why? I bet on all the horses.
It's time to pony up.
Giddy up.
All righty, we're heading to the Belmont at the Big A, race number 10.
Yeah, Belmont at the Big A. Basically Aqueduct, but Belmont should be having these races. It's under construction, so they're not. So they're calling it Belmont at the Big A here. Give me the number 4 horse in race number 10, the Grade 2 Ruffian, the Sterling Silver here, 9-2 on the morning line. This is a horse that's been very successful running in state-bred stakes races in New York and tried the open company graded stakes level twice before, ran very well in both of those races, just was not able to get a win. Now we're going second off the layoff in the 6-year-old season. This is a great setup, going a mile, which is the best distance for Sterling Silver. 5 wins in 12 races here at Aqueduct. Also has 2 wins in 4 efforts over the mile. Like this horse being able to sit right off the pace and winning. I do like the number 9 horse Gunsong quite a bit at 8-1, but the 4 horse here are going to be my top pick at 9-2.
I know if you're watching at home, it says also race number 10. It is race number 11 that we are going to next.
Yeah, race number 11, Vassimo, 5-1 here in the Grade 3 Peter Pan. I don't like the favorites here, the 4 Hill Road or the 8 Captain Cook. I'm going to go for a little bit bigger of a price. Vassimo ran in back-to-back Kentucky Derby preps prior to this. This is essentially a Belmont prep. We saw Arcangelo win this race, go on to win the Belmont. I think that Vassimo here for Todd Pletcher got a big shot at a big number, 5-1, Matt.
If you're betting these, Aqueduct inside your app. If you are betting these, again, that is the 4 horse in race 10, the 1 horse in race number 11. Guys, you can bet the Preakness, obviously, over at First Bet. We told you last week to go ahead and sign up for it. If you haven't done so already, don't miss out. Head on in there. VSiN200 is your promo code. 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. That's firstbet.com. The number 1 STBET.com. Use the promo code VSiN200. And again, 20% rebate on all your wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200.
to Ready, Set, Bet with Matt Brown and Mike Somich on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Ready, Set, Bet here on VSiN. Matt Brown and Mike Somich. Mike, we want to keep the talk betting related here on the program, so we will bring up the fact it was betting related, as last week me and former VSiN employee Dakota Martin go out and take you and current VSiN employee Isaiah Wrinkle to the woodshed out at Paiute. It was a bloodbath, and it was very fun to go out there and do that. Of course, in excellent condition, always great out there, and always great to take money from you guys.
Yeah, I would. I don't know if bloodbath is the right term. Fortunately, I was able to get a little bit back on 18 on you there when you put 2 into the out of bounds. That was nice, but it's okay. It was a late night the night before. We had an action-packed show. I used all my energy to make sure I delivered a good show on Sunday morning. I didn't save enough for the golf course.
I like it.
I was just really sandbagging for Preakness weekend. So next weekend we'll be back out there on Sunday afternoon, and I'm just going to raise the stakes and then just crush it.
I like it. We'll give you a stroke aside. We'll do something. We'll do something like that.
Yeah, please.
And then we didn't get to this last segment, but for everybody out there, I mean, and you working in the industry as much as you do and having worked in as long as you have, you never like to see when there's absolutely no chance for a Triple Crown winner. I understand we're always looking at the safety of the animals first and foremost in all of this. But, when you hype something up as much as you hype up the Kentucky Derby and then you get the winner and you're kind of like, okay, at least for another couple weeks, we can hype up that maybe we're going to have a Triple Crown winner, right? And sure, that might die after the Preakness, and then you head into the Belmont, and it's like you have to create new narratives and whatnot. But when you don't have that rolling in there, it just lets a little bit of the air out of the balloon.
Yeah, it does. It's a bummer. I mean, because for your novice fan, for your Triple Crown watcher of the sport, it definitely takes some juice away from the Preakness, and there's really no way to argue that. We're still going to have a decent field. We'll see if journalism ends up going. Sandman announced that he is going to run in the Preakness today, which at least brings a little bit more of an attraction to the race. So we'll see what happens there. But it is a bummer, and it's the second time in 4 years we're not going to have the Derby winner run in the Preakness. So there's a bigger conversation that needs to happen around the spacing of these races. When the Triple Crown was created, horses ran every 2 weeks regularly. Now they don't. It's just not how the breed is handled. And a lot of it is for the longevity of the horse's career. And because of that, it might be time that horse racing finds a way to change and decides to spread these races out, 4 weeks to the Preakness, 5 weeks to the Belmont. And yes, you lose some of the buzz because it's not immediate, but at the same time, having sovereignty in there in the Preakness and possibly winning and then going to the Belmont is a much better thing for the horse long-term and for the sport. So it's a time to look at the spacing of these races.
I know we had this conversation last year. I think you were on the other side of this argument, actually, where you were saying, no, we don't need to adjust the spacing between the races or something, because I was screaming from a mountaintop that not only do you need to do that just for the health of the sport, in my opinion, the health of the sport in general, because you don't want to kill narratives if you don't have to. But also, Mike, listen, you drag out the 3 big races in horse racing a little bit longer. You get people interested in horse racing for more months, more weeks of the calendar, right? I mean, we just replace the race here with the Preakness next week. Let's just invent a new big race, right? I mean, seriously, let's just that horse racing. I know you say horse racing is so averse to change and all of that, but I mean, invent a new big race that happens 2 weeks after the Kentucky Derby, but then we go into the Preakness, like you said, 4 weeks down the road as opposed to 2 weeks down the road, and maybe we can get some of these horses running it back, because it really does just lets a lot of air out of the balloon there, especially for the casual viewer, right? Because now you've got to start hyping up these horses no one's heard of, and that just doesn't resonate. Okay, over in Major League Baseball, we said didn't have any early first pitches today, which is a little bit of a bummer for us. We like getting that instant gratification here on the program. But Mike, we'll start here with the Atlanta Braves on the road at the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is Andrew Smith-Shawver versus Andrew Heaney. We talked a little bit about Heaney a couple of weeks ago here. Started out great. It was kind of smoke and mirrors. Nothing in the underlying stats showed why he was having the success. It looked like maybe he was just kind of on a fake heater. Then he's just gotten absolutely blown up last 3 times out. I took the Braves first 5 here at minus 132. Not only that, you go in and you look over the last 3 weeks. So basically go back to about April 21st is when if you were looking for a date range here till now. Pirates 27th in slugging over the last 3 weeks. They're 29th in runs scored. I mean, by the way, there's only 30 teams in Major League Baseball. So they're 29th in runs scored. Only one team has scored fewer runs than they have over the last 3 weeks with all of this. And Shawver's actually been fairly decent here. And this is more of a bet against Heaney than it is on the Braves, Mike, because we know the Braves have had their struggles of their own. But yeah, give me Heaney going up against this team that is at least starting to turn the corner a little bit. And I think he's coming back down to earth and being the Andrew Heaney that we know and love, which is that like mid-4s, almost 5 ERA guy, gives up a decent amount of hard contact, isn't going to get a ton of strikeouts, that type of guy that, yeah, every now and then is going to give you a really good start, but more likely it's the bad start, good start than what we saw at the beginning of the season, which was good start, bad start.
Yeah, I stared at this game for a long time, Matt. I kind of wanted to take the over, but it's hard to take the over with the Pirates with the way they're swinging the bat right now. I agree with you on everything you said on Heaney. I don't love the starter here for Atlanta. His underlying numbers not quite as good as what his current numbers are. And I just don't want to assume the blow up here from Heaney as well. So I wanted to play the over. I couldn't get there because of the Pirates offensive stats that you mentioned.
Yeah. And as we look here, I'll look up the starting lineups real quick to make sure that we're not getting anything wacky here in this one, but no, Verdugo, Riley, Ozuna, Olsen, Albies, Murphy, Harris. Okay, so we're getting a good Braves lineup in there for this one. So yeah, I like that one there on the first 5. Not the full game line here. I don't think it's needed. Really, the handicap here is against Heaney, so like I don't see a reason to play the full game here in this one. Yankees and the A's, Carlos Rodon and JP Sears. Hey, we love to play JP Sears games here. He starts every single Saturday. I mean, it's just like we're on JP Sears time here.
It's incredible, man. Yeah. We get to celebrate JP Sears Day every single week. Yeah. It's a phenomenal setup. I appreciate the Athletics being able to put that out for us. And we talked about with Colby the weather conditions here in Sacramento, 90 degrees, slight wind blowing out with possible gusts as well. He talked about Judge and went with 2 Judge homers. I'm going to actually go to Goldschmidt, and this is mainly because of if you look at his righty versus lefty splits, he is significantly better with left-handed pitching. This year he's hitting 581 against lefties. The batting average last year, though, so a little bit bigger sample size, hit 295 against lefties, hitting 220 against righties. So it's 65-point upgrade there. His slugging percentage up 78 points when he's facing lefties versus righties. Again, great conditions there. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take Goldschmidt plus 310 to hit a homer and plus 115 for an RBI. I think this is a Yankees team that is able to get to Sears today. So I do expect runs in this spot and wanted to try and find a way to have a little fun with it with Goldschmidt. And then Matt, I've got my Mike is allowed to have fun gambling parlay.
Thank you.
As well. We're allowed to have fun gambling.
We have fun here on Ready, Set, Bet. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're like, look, you don't go out and put a full unit on this, right? But I'm going to have a little fun. I like a 25-1 parlay today, focusing on 2 stadiums that I think are going to produce runs for the road team. So we'll start out here. This is 5 players to get an RBI today. We're going to take Goldschmidt, and then we'll add Bellinger as well, who has been better both from a batting average perspective and contact perspective against lefty pitchers. So Bellinger and Goldschmidt here. And then let's look to this Rockies game against the Padres. Phenomenal hitting conditions today in Colorado. Rockies love giving up runs. So let's add 3 different Padres to this: Tatis Jr., Machado, and Bogarts. You add the 5 together, you get plus 2,500 for the 5 of them to have an RBI, Matt. So we'll go with a little bit of fun here. Goldschmidt, Bellinger, Tatis Jr., Machado, Bogarts, all for an RBI today, plus 2,500.
I will tell you this, even better for your bet, they have moved Goldschmidt up to the leadoff spot today, so he is going to get as many at-bats as they can roll through for him.
That makes sense. He's been crushing lefties, Matt. And like he just has not faced very many this year, but he has been awesome. And like I said, both the batting average and the slugging go up when he's facing lefties.
Brewers and Rays, I've got one here. It is not for everybody because there is that chance of rain in Tampa today. So this one's a little bit dicey. I took Tobias Myers over 3.5 Ks For this Brewers team, Rays have the third highest K rate in Major League Baseball over the last 3 weeks. And if you look at Tobias Myers in his minor league stats, Mike, he actually had a really good K rate. And if you look even back to last year, it was decent. He hadn't had it so far this year, so maybe he can get things right here against a team that is free swinging right now. He can find that K rate that he's had over the course of his career. That being said, this one's pretty dicey. 45% chance of rain. As the later it gets in the evening, it gets up to kind of 55. And so we always talk about this, rain delays, guys don't come back out, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't want to tail me on that one, I fully understand. Guys, if you want to come and hang out with us here at Circa, what better rate, what better deal are you going to get? CircaLasVegas.com, $400 all-in rate now through September the 4th. 2-night stay at Circa, $100 dining credit, $100 beverage credit, and a day bed at Stadium Swim. All of this for $400 all-in pricing, no extra fees, no extra craziness. $400 get you those 2 nights, $100 dining, $100 beverage, and a day bed at Stadium Swim.